There's been a lot of news about impeachment, oil prices today, and the markets and what's going on. And I wanted to share my 2 cents about the impeachment, oil prices, Aramco stock, in the shale boom and what's going on there. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. So obviously, the markets speak for itself. If this was a real impeachment, oil prices would be dropping, the markets would be crashing. But here's the truth. The House impeachment vote won't remove Trump from office. Here's what can. If Trump is going to be ousted from office through impeachment, it's going to require a very unlikely conviction in the Senate. I wouldn't be surprised. They're saying that Trump didn't use a very good defense in order to fight this thing, but I think he's allowing it to drag along. Why? Because his base is rallied even more around him more than ever before. Even me, I'm watching this. It frustrated me, and people are posting Facebook posts, Instagram, news everywhere. People are talking about it because they're tired of it. I'm tired of it personally, but the markets, here's the deal. If people were taking this seriously, the markets would be crashing, and they're not. They're not crashing. And so if you look at today's oil prices today, WTI West Texas Intermediate is 61.28. Brent crude is 65.71. We're up $6 from where we were a couple months ago. Oil prices are going up, bottom line. And if you look here, oil hovers near 3-month highs on trade progress, lower inventories, okay? And so oil prices hovered near 3-month peaks on Thursday by falling U.S. crude inventories and thawing trade relationships. Our crude inventories are dropping, of course, because shale output is dropping, period. And trade relations between the United States and China is improving. Brent crude gained 50 cents, traded at 66.67 per barrel, heading for a 6th straight day of gains. And if prices on Thursday end with a positive territory, and yes, they are. Crude West Texas Intermediate crude gained 47. The deal between the world's two largest economies has improved the global economic outlook, lifting prospects for higher energy demand next year and underpinning oil prices. In further sign of thawing relations, China's finance ministry on Thursday published a new list of 6 U.S. products that will be exempt from tariffs starting December 26. Donald Trump, you are a genius. China is bowing down to us, and a lot of it has to do with oil. Every time the U.S. slaps sanctions on Iran and different countries, Russia, it hurt China tremendously. China is where we were when Bush Jr. was in office. We were addicted to oil. Our economy was growing. Our demand for oil grew exponentially, and so the difference is that China, we only have 350 million people. China has 1.3 billion people. Okay, so their demand looks a lot different than ours, and so their demand has increased by 30%, and their output for oil has decreased by 15%. So they're desperate for oil, and those sanctions that we slapped on Middle East countries hurt China tremendously. In order for them to grow to the next greatest superpower, they have to have oil, okay? And so what's amazing, Saudi Aramco stock hit its $2 trillion mark. I can't believe it. It's a perfect storm for Saudi Arabia. The oil markets are working side by side with Saudi Arabia as the perfect storm. The Saudi Aramco SR222 has emerged as the most valuable publicly traded company in history. So the most valuable company in the world is oil. And since opening on the Saudi Stock Exchange December 11th, the valuation of the national oil giant jumped to $2 trillion, $2.03 trillion to be exact. Wouldn't you like that 0.03? That's unbelievable. Thanks to the surge on the first day of trading with a 10% increase in share price, Saudi Aramco begins trading at 32, whatever that means, rials. That's their U.S. That's their currency. So anyways, and here's the chart here. They did it. They pulled it off. And so a big driving force of increased oil prices, the China trade deal coming to peace, but in our economy growing, the demand for oil growing, China's economy, they greatly affect oil prices because they have they consume 25% of the world's oil supply. But another major thing that's causing oil prices to go up is shale. As oil prices drop and money dries up, is the U.S. shale boom going to bust? Okay, now I've been saying this for years. Shale is not economically in these prices. And so it was only a matter of time until we got to this point, okay? And the news is just now catching up, surprisingly. The shale oil boom that capsulated the U.S. into being the world's largest oil producer may be going bust. Oil prices are dropping amid weakening demand. Bankruptcies and layoffs are up, and drilling is down. Signs of a crisis that's quietly rolling the industry. Some of the most successful companies in the oil business are household names at ExxonMobil, Chevron, but the boom in shale drilling has been driven by smaller independent operators. These companies have pushed the limits of drilling technology and taken big risks on unproven oil fields. Today, shale accounts for about 2/3 U.S. oil production and nearly all the industry's growth. But many of the companies that made that growth possible are now struggling to stay afloat. So you guys got to understand, nearly all of the industry's growth, nearly all of our U.S. growth in oil is shale. And you cannot maintain it. That has a lot to do with business model of the U.S. So the shale, says David Deckelbaum, an analyst at investment bank Cowen, this is an industry that for every dollar that they brought in, they would spend two. Guys, name one American household that could bring in $1 and spend two and not eventually go into bankruptcy. See, the reason why they were okay with this, they thought, well, if we buy lease acquisitions now, if we do lease acquisitions now because oil price is low, we're going to get a better deal. If we drill wells today, we're going to drill them for much cheaper. And then tomorrow, oil prices are going to go up to $80 to $100 a barrel. Well, they did that. They did that in 2016. They did that in 2017. They did that in 2018. They did that in 2019 with hopes that sunny days would be tomorrow, and it just kept raining. Oil prices kept lowering, and you know the reason why all this happened is because the economic warfare that Donald Trump is doing to destroy the Middle East, and most of their money, 9/11 was funded by oil. All of these acts of terror is funded by oil. You lower oil prices, you take their money, and they can't do anything. They can't buy planes, they can't buy bombs, they can't build new technology to destroy people. But anyways, oil, the shale game is dying. And as long as oil prices stay low, and here's when I say low oil prices, in 2004, oil prices didn't hit $50-something a barrel till that year or 2005, I believe. And that was very high for us at the time because conventional oil is a lot cheaper. If you compare shale to conventional, you could drill a shale well and make a lot of money at $30 oil, as where shale oil production, you need to use the latest technology to extract oil from a very tight, low porosity structure called shale. And you got to use a frac, which costs millions of dollars. And that frac stimulates the structure and manipulates the structure to get oil out of it. But when you manipulate Mother Nature, it's only going to go back to what she originally intended. So I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. If you have any questions, feel free to look at my description. You could request information. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a call if you have any questions. We got some oil deals that offer 100% tax write-off. So if you want a 100% tax write-off this year, you got until December 31st. Anyways, give me a call, 307-622-1-OIL.